Hi, you guys. Can you hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me. Oh, I forgot to put on my earrings. Oh, well. Okay. All right, you guys. Let's see here. I am going to get into YouTube really quick because I just want to check the community to see if anybody posted any questions in there. And let me see, I'm going to move this over here. And my channel. Post. Sorry. Okay. We do have a few here. All right. All right, you guys. So today we're going to talk about herbs. Thank you all for being here. Christine, hello. Andrea from North Carolina is here, and Nida is here from Punta Gorda, Florida, and Paula Bechtel from Colorado. Aha, nice. And we have Vicky from Nevada. I'm a really old time Nevada girl. Basically, I came to Las Vegas when I was 6 months old. And I was there until after I was 50. Oh, thank you so much, Deborah, for letting me know that. Hi, Joy. Hi, Erlinda. Thank you guys for being here. I really, really appreciate it. So for people who are new here, hi, Stephanie from Ohio, and Brian from Tampa, and Jane. So I'm Heidi Villegas, and I'm the founder of Healing Harvest Homestead and the School of Botanical Arts and Sciences. And I teach herbalism and aromatherapy, and I do a little bit of life coaching as well for people if they need it and if I have time. So I'm here, and today we're going to talk about herbs. All right. So I have some questions here that came in. I sent out in my newsletter. I asked if people would respond with questions that they had, and I also mentioned it on the YouTube channel. Hey, Terry, Barry and me are here. Hi, Barry. Barry and Terry are brother and sister, basically. So glad you guys are here. Yeah, Barry's actually been doing a lot of work for us in the business, and he's amazing. So more on that soon. Tanya's here. First time catching you live. I'm from Wisconsin. Well, welcome, Tanya. So glad you're here. And JoJo's here. All right. So the way we're going to do this, or the way I generally do this, is I tackle the questions that I have at hand, and then I go into the chat and I gather more questions to answer. I say I'm going to be on for 30 minutes, but usually it ends up being about an hour because I love talking about herbs. And so you can count on that. And I will be sharing, as soon as it's printing here, my herbal remedy guide and cheat sheet, which I think you should all have. It's great for your kitchen and home apothecary. And I also have a home apothecary guide, and that link is going across the I don't know what you call it, the thingamajigger. So if you have a question that you want to write into the chat, what I'd like you to do is please write question in all caps, and I'll be more likely to see it. And I'll scroll all the way up to the top and start there. So I will try to catch everybody's. Okay. And let's see here. Let me grab this quick link. I'm going to just drop this in the chat for you. And I just want to let you know too, there's an offer for a really great sale my herbal medicine making basics course. It's like an herbal pharmacy course, and it's just basics. I think there's 15 videos in it, so it's a good little course. I sell it for $147, but when you get the herbal remedy guide or many of my other herbal free guides, you can get that course for just $37. And it's been a while since I filmed it, and we're actually in the process of refilming and updating, and I'm going to add some more content to it. So the price probably will go up even on the sale price, but so I'm just letting you know that. I just dropped the link in the chat for you. And yeah, it's so go ahead and pick that up. And as soon as this stops printing, I will. My printer's so slow today. I'll show you it. It's really beautiful. Okay, questions. So Heather has a question about fire cider. How many of you guys have started your fire cider? I mean, say yes in the chat if you've gotten your fire cider started, because if you haven't, this is the time of year you want to get it going and make a bunch. And then just plan on taking a little tonic amount of it every single day because it helps keep you well. It's filled with ingredients that boost your immune system. I shouldn't say that. They don't really boost the immune system, but what they do is they support it so that it can do what it's supposed to do. And that's really what we want mostly when we're dealing with immune system care, especially if we're not sick. So yes. Oh, good. Marlene has got her fire cider going. Good. Green Smoothie Queen has hers. Looks like it. Yes. Yes. And Maddie says, I will dig my horseradish this week. Good, you guys. Nida says, yep, got it going. Brenda's a yes. Vanessa's a yes. If you didn't get it going, it's okay. You still have time, but you want to get that going. On my website at Healing Harvest Homestead, I have my favorite recipe. And I also make it using elderberries. So you can use dried elderberries or fresh elderberries even in it. And oh my goodness, and then that will boost your immune system. So, and help it out to just keep it going there. So fire cider, you guys, you want to do your fire cider. Okie dokie. Oh, thank you, Ronnie. Ronnie's here helping us. She's one of our students and also on our team. She handles a lot of the social media for us, and I'm so grateful for her. So she's here to help too. And so yes, thank you guys. Good. Davina's got hers. Paula's got hers. All righty. So Heather was asking a question about fire cider. She said that she realized she forgot to put the onion in. She was going to try to add it, but the apple cider vinegar is in and to the top. Thoughts? Do I need the onion or will it still work without it? Ugh, I need to. I know, haven't all of us had a kind of a frazzled year? Heather's had a frazzled year. I have too. So you know what? This is the wonderful thing about fire cider, you guys. It's so flexible. Like it is so flexible. If you don't like horseradish, leave it out. If you want cayenne pepper instead of the horseradish, that will get you going too. You can add more ginger. You can do all kinds of different things with it. And there are thousands of recipes out there for fire ciders of all kinds. And so, yes, if you forget something, it's okay. You can leave it out. I'm going to just give you a little tip on onions, though. If you're going to use onion, I really prefer to use the red onions. And that's because, we all know about colors of food, right? If the food is red or orange or bright yellow or whatever, if it's a bright color or blue or purple, it's going to have a lot of antioxidants from the anthocyanins that are in it and the other good things that are in it. So colors are good. Use red onion, okay, in your fire cider. So you want to do that. So there's that answer. Let's see here. Nancy wanted to ask about mullein leaves. So how many of you harvest mullein for the respiratory system? It's a wonderful herb and it grows literally everywhere. It's a weed all over the United States. So from the desert of the Mojave, where I used to live, all the way up into the forests of North Idaho, into Florida, the east, the southeast. So mullein. And I think God put it there for us. God put it everywhere because it's so good for our lungs. And we really should harvest a little bit of it every year, enough to get us through the winter until we can harvest it again in the spring. And Nancy was asking, So it's a biennial plant. That means that it has a 2-year lifespan. The first year, you just get a nice rosette of leaves, and they're beautiful. They just come up out of the center. That's what a rosette is, and they grow. And then the second year, you get the plant matures, and you end up with the stalk rising up out of the center of the plant, and it gets little yellow flowers, usually in July in most places if you're in the northern hemisphere. And you can harvest those leaves. So you can harvest in both the first and the second years. It really, I've heard herbalists always have differing opinions, and I've harvested both in the first year and the second year, and I've had good results with both. I have heard one herbalist say that the second year is better. I've heard most herbalists say it doesn't matter, and so there's that. So you can experiment with that and see what you think. But the one thing I would say is that if you're wanting to harvest from a rosette in the first year, please be certain 100% that it is mullein. Okay, there's a couple of lookalikes out there that form a rosette in similar ways, and you don't want to accidentally take something thinking it's mullein when it's something else. An example of a really toxic plant that's a lookalike is digitalis. Okay, that's foxglove. So if you have foxglove growing near you, you've probably noticed that it starts off as a little rosette too, and very, very, very poisonous. In fact, digitalis is a drug in the pharmaceutical industry, and they used to pull that digitalis from the foxglove leaves. It's for use when somebody's having a heart attack or a heart issue or a cardiovascular problem, and so it's that powerful that it's been turned into a drug. But if we were to go to the plant and eat a leaf, for example, you could literally die. You could literally die from that. So be careful always when you're harvesting. And so there's the question on mullein. And then Elisa says in her question, I wanted to share with the rest of you how much I really like the vapor rub salve from the Ditch the Drugstore course. That's our family herbalism course. So if you want a great family herbalism course, it's amazing. There's over 200 recipes, and no, you don't have to make them all. We have part of the courses helping you plan out your apothecary, so you only make what your family needs. And there you save money that way. She said, I started to come down with a cold today and my throat was getting sore. So after work, I made the salve and I used a 5% dilution since it was my first time making it and using it. And I wanted to make sure it wouldn't irritate my skin. And then she says the next time she's going to make it a little stronger to a 6 or 8%, which is perfectly fine for a vapor rub salve for an adult. And she said she also made the inhaler from my aromatherapy course. Yay. She said it worked great too. You know what? The essential oils are pretty incredible when it comes to respiratory support. I was listening to listening to a sermon this morning, and what was the saying the pastor said? It was you need it. You need it before you need it, or something like that. But I feel like that about our herbal medicines. You know, it's good to be prepared with the things you need, because like this, you make your stuff and it's ready to go. It's ready to go. It does not cost very much, and it's ready for you when you need it. Let's see here. Bernadette says, looking for a good tea tincture to combat nightly hot flash and night sweats. Any ideas? I have a lot of ideas on that. As a postmenopausal woman myself, let me grab a Kleenex here. Yes, I've been through the gamut, and so have a lot of our students. So hot flashes, you guys. I'm a big fan, being a holistic herbalist, of using a multi-pronged approach. Okay, so I like to think about the whole body as a whole. It's a whole system. It's your mind, it's your body, it's your spirit, it's all of it, all together. Okay, so with hot flashes, they're very uncomfortable usually for most women, and they come on suddenly, and you just get this flush, and then you're drenched in sweat. It's really not very pleasant. And when it happens at night, it's called night sweats. And men actually get these too when they start going through their period of maturation called andropause. So you'll find some men actually suffer from these as well. They don't talk about it. Men are just, they just deal with it, right? Women are like, oh, I'm dying. And it's very uncomfortable. So what I like to do is use herbs and essential oils. Now, herbally speaking, for hot flashes, my number one most favorite herb for hot flashes and night sweats is black cohosh. It tends to help support hormone balance in women, and it really tends to focus right in on those the night sweats and the hot flashes. So black cohosh, it does not have to warn you, it doesn't taste good. It's bitter. Okay. And along with that, I would say Vitex. Vitex agnus castus, also known as chaste berry, is a wonderful supporter of hormone balance for women too. So I'll often put those together. A couple of others I like to work with are red clover and motherwort. Those four are my favorites for menopausal women who are dealing with symptoms from going through menopause, which is, a natural thing to do. So that's one thing. I would make a tea blend, and I would try to make it taste good by adding some vinegar and some peppermint to it. And that can be very, very helpful. Another thing is I actually have a hot flash spray on my YouTube channel. So if you're on YouTube, you can actually go open another tab and search it if you want to. Just put Heidi Villegas hot flash or hot spray. The title is a spray for hot people. But you can look that up. It's super easy to make. And I tell you, you spray it on your neck right here, and it cools you down like immediately. It's amazing. So whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. The spray would work well. If you're a man and you're going through andropause, I would not take Vitex or motherwort or even red clover. The red clover is full of isoflavones. Those are soy phytoestrogens types. It's a legume, red clover is. And then motherwort and Vitex both have chemicals that support the female body specifically. Honestly, if you are a man and you took it, it's not going to hurt you, unless you're like overtaking it. But the black cohosh is helpful for really everybody in this situation. And I've got other ideas, but I could talk about that for literally an hour. But I think those two things will get you going. Okie dokie. Let's see. I'm going to take a break from the questions real quick, and I am going to scroll up because I think the chat's really gotten going here. And once again, before I do that, I'm going to post this link. Let me grab the herbal remedy guide over here for you guys. See here. So this is awesome. I created this a while back, and just want to show you this because you should all have this, especially right now. This is my herbal remedy guide and cheat sheet, and it's about 15 pages, and it's filled with 1 page per herb. And if there's an essential oil with the herb too, because not all plants have essential oils. But I tell you what you can use the herb for, and then some ideas for use too. And then if you want more, I've got so many recipes on my website. But these are all plants that are common and easy to find. And many of them are right in your kitchen. Like this is red onion. Here's garlic. So things you can do with these. There's rosemary. And then I've got a cheat sheet in the back. So you can actually go to that and you can see what the problem is, and then look at how which of those plants you would choose to use. So you can get that at that link I just dropped in the, I think I dropped it in the, here, I'll do it again, just in case I didn't. All right, so Jane's question here on mixing tinctures, what is a rule of thumb for that and how many? So this is called herbal formulation, right? When we start blending our herbs together and we start blending our tinctures together, what we're doing is we're formulating. And you need to do that correctly or you're going to have a messy formulation that may not work. And that requires knowledge of the plants. So a lot of people will think, oh, you can just like throw all these tinctures together for different things and just take it once a day and it's not going to work like that. Okay. Or they just want to save a bottle or something. Don't do that. You want to do it right. So I have something called a formulation triangle and I give instructions on how to use that. It's on my website. So if you just Google healing, harvest, homestead, and then formulation. Okay. If you put those 4 words in with a space in between, Google will bring it up for you. And you can actually go to that article. And I think I have a PDF available for it. I also teach formulation heavily in my courses. So, but there are a few rule of thumbs I should mention on formulation. So number 1 is you want to know what the active herbs are. The active herbs should be about 70 to 80% of the formulation, in my opinion. And then you've got your synergizers and your harmonizers. These are other herbs that if there are harsh actions with the active herbs, the harmonizers will actually get in there and the synergizers, and they will potentially, depending on what you choose, they'll kind of mitigate the harshness of some of the active herbs. An example of that would be golden seal. If you're taking it because you have an infection of some kind on tissue in your body, but golden seal is really drying, or sage, even like a sage, very, very drying plant. And so what you'd want to add as a supporter or a harmonizer would be something that it has mucilage in it, that's demulcent, that's moisturizing and soothing. So something like marshmallow root or marshmallow leaf would be a really good choice. And then that little section is going to be between 10 and 20% of your formula. And then in your third portion of the formula, which is also 10 to 20%, those are your stimulators. These are the powerhouse herbs, the ones that are going to increase circulation in the body to an extent. They usually taste really good and they help the formula get to work in your system. Okay, so that's kind of how you decide what herbs. Personally, when I see these formulas that have more than like 5 or 6 herbs, I kind of roll my eyes because there's no reason to have more than that many herbs in a formulation for a specific use. Okay, so don't go crazy. No, set your intention for what you want that formulation to do, and then you just go ahead and think through your formula, and then you can combine. So I just will say it like that. Let's see. So those are some tips. Oops. My chat jumped here. Let's see here. Here's a question. Are red raspberry and blackberry leaves interchangeable medicinally? No, not really. To an extent, they are. They're both astringent. So both of those plants, and when they're astringent, what that means is they tighten tissue. They tighten and tone tissue in the body. So to one extent or another. Now, red raspberry leaf is not as astringent as blackberry leaves are. Blackberry leaves are far, far more powerful when it comes to the tightening and the toning of tissue. So if you've got diarrhea, if you've got, issues where there's a lot of moisture in the body, for example, blackberry leaf can be very, very helpful. And that's what I turn to. Red raspberry leaf is really good for the female body of all ages. Red raspberry leaf tends to just go to work and just support the entire female system, including the reproductive organs. So that's a couple of ways how they're different medicinally. And there are a few other ways too. But if you're looking for, I'll tell you, if I had diarrhea and I didn't have blackberry leaf, I would certainly use my red raspberry leaf. It's just not going to be quite as powerful in the body. Let's see here. Oh, Stephanie says, question, when can I sign up to join the tribe? Okay, so we actually just decided to close enrollment to the tribe because we brought in a whole bunch of new students. And so we're updating a few things and we're working with those students. And I'm right in the middle of teaching an energetics course inside the tribe. It's a new course I'm creating. And my tribe members get everything or almost everything first. So but Stephanie, do reach out to Joe. Just ask him. He kind of keeps a handle on all of that. So you can talk to him at support healingharvesthomestead.com. If you guys have any questions, here, I'll put this in here too. Just reach out to our support email. Joe checks that every day, and he'll answer for you there. Let's see. Green Smoothie Queen says, question, herbs and oils that help support the female thyroid. So that's a medical kind of a question, and it depends on what's going on. It depends on if it's hyper or hypothyroidism that you're dealing with. It depends on how the symptoms are presenting in your body. It depends on why you are dealing with it too. You guys, this is part of being a holistic herbalist, is we don't just oh, goodness. Let's talk about the pill mentality. You've got to get away from the pill mentality, you guys. You've got to drop it because working with herbs, if you want to turn to herbs for your health and wellness, it is drastically different. It's a different thought process that we must learn to go through. And good herbalists do this. Some herbalists never do, but you must if you want to deal with your system correctly. You've got to get away from the thinking of what herb for this or that condition, because it doesn't work like that. So what we do instead is we consider the body. We consider how things are showing up in our body or issues or complaints. We consider why they're showing up, and then we go to root cause. And we consider the symptoms that are presenting as well. So then we can deal with whatever's happening in a multi-pronged way. We can deal with things in terms of diet, exercise, lifestyle, herbs, essential oils, different things we'll use for different people, and everybody's body is totally different, you guys. That's just the way it is. We're all different individuals. And isn't that the power of working with herbs? It is. It's you're working with your specific body for what your specific body needs, and you're losing the whole, here, let's just mask the symptom. Let's just mask it and make it operate normally, right, for a moment until you take your medication and it gets into your system and then it goes away and you got to take it again, right? That's not true health in my book. Okay, true health is when you basically use herbs and essential oils or even medicines, if they're available for this, to actually heal the body. Unfortunately, most drugs do not heal the body. They just mask. So anyway, I could talk, the thyroid is a, I just want to mention the tribe again, since we just talked about the Confident Herbalist tribe. We've talked about everything under the sun in the tribe. At this point, 6-7 years later, it's a massive bank of information and it's searchable. And so what people will do in the Confident Herbalist tribe is they'll type in thyroid in the feed or in the feed search, and all of the threads where we've talked about it come up. And I also talked about the thyroid on our live chats in different areas. We've done protocols and case studies and then Q&A chats. And so you can search in our videos inside the Confident Herbalist tribe too. This is on top of all of the courses that are inside the tribe. There's about 70-ish, 71-ish courses right now, I think, altogether. It's crazy. So you know what? Plan to get in there at some point. Let's see here. So yeah, if it's medical, you guys, I have to be really careful on social media. I'm just not allowed to. I just have to be really careful. Otherwise, I'm going to get slapped and slapped hard. And I've already been slapped on Facebook. I cannot get into my Facebook business page, and I cannot get into my herbal group over there. It's just like they're just floating around on their own in there because I can't get in. It's ridiculous. And I've tried, I've had them on the phone, no help. This is a little mini rant, sorry, but any reputable business that still runs their business on Facebook groups is probably not that great because Facebook doesn't like herbalists. Okay. I'm just going to put that out there. If they're running their business, their courses, their groups on social media of any kind, I'd stay away. So with that said, all of our student communities are on a private platform that we host, and they're amazing and they're super active and nobody's slapping us down. And maybe that'll happen someday because you don't know how the internet's going to be. But right now we're good. Melissa says, question. Hi, Heidi. I have a test soon, and it is so much information in my textbook, and I keep forgetting. I have focus problems. Okay. So I'm going to give you a few tips, Melissa. I used to be a school teacher for over 30 years, and I've taught children through adults. Okay. First off, I would use essential oils, and my favorite ones for focus to help you remember. If you've got a diffuser, this is good, or you can make a roller bottle, or you can get a bracelet like this that's leather, and then you can just drop the essential oils on it and it'll keep smelling. But my favorite essential oils for the brain and memory are rosemary. Okay, rosemary's been actually heavily studied in terms of cognitive support. So rosemary for sure. Another one I just love is peppermint because it's energizing to our brain. It helps keep us awake without the caffeine jitters and all of that. Peppermint's really great. And I really like sage, but not too much of it. It's pretty powerful. Sage is also a focuser. Basil is another one that's really helpful for the brain. And I love lemon. Lemon tends to uplift the emotions and keeps you from getting stressed. So, what I would do is just put a few drops of those into a diffuser and let them go whenever you're studying. And if you can get a mixture you like, make a roller bottle out of them and try that. So that's what I would turn to first. Now, I did a YouTube video on nootropic herbs. I'll spell that here in the chat for you guys. And these support brain health and cognitive function. Okay, so you can do a search on YouTube or search in my channel for nootropic herbs. I've got it spelled down there in the chat for you. And I go through in that video a whole bunch of herbs. And I think I even share an herbal tea. I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, let me know. and I will do that for you. But I would use both. I would start drinking the tea every day. If you want to tincture them, you can tincture them. If you don't want to drink tea, and take that daily. It does help over time. It does. Now, let me just say, because again, herbs are not like drugs, right? It's not going to help right away. The herbs, it takes time for them to get into the body and do their magic and their supports. Sometimes, a few months even. So start now, just start taking them, and you will slowly over time have some improvements. The essential oils, they help me like immediately. So whenever I'm doing something where I'm writing, then I will definitely diffuse. Another thing you can do is movement. Okay. And it's hard because you're sitting there studying, right? And you're just sitting there and you're focusing and you're trying to think and, you're not moving your body. So what I would say is whatever's comfortable for you, but at least an hour or every 90 minutes, get up. Get the blood moving, do some jumping jacks, do a little jog, go for a 10-minute walk. That gets air circulating into your body and throughout your body, including your brain. So that's helpful. And then don't eat a big meal, eat lightly when you know that you have to study and you have to focus. And I am a big fan of taking notes with a pen and paper, okay, if you're studying for something. And the reason I used to tell my students this all the time, take notes because and not because you're going to go back and read them necessarily, although you might, and I always did when I was in school, but there is a pathway from your brain to the muscles in your hands. And it's been proven over and over that when you are writing, so typing doesn't count, okay? So don't do this on your computer. You want a notebook and you want a pencil or a pen, and you just take your notes and write. And there's something about that that helps you to remember, okay? And a lot of people don't do that anymore because now everybody's using their devices and taking notes in just by highlighting or whatever with the little yellow like digital highlighter thing. It's not the same. I know I'm an old lady, and hopefully you're not poo-pooing me over here, but I'm telling you, I've seen it over over the years, and as a long-term student myself, I'm still taking courses. I'm sorry, there goes my voice again. I will always take notes. Get a good drink of water there. All right. Let's see. I'm going to scroll, see if I can find another question. Sarah said, question, what are your thoughts on ashwagandha? I love ashwagandha. Ashwagandha it's Withania somnifera is the Latin name of it. And we'll talk about the Latin name in a moment. But ashwagandha is a wonderful adaptogen herb. It's in the category of adaptogens. And let's just talk adaptogens for a moment. Adaptogens are herbs that are really safe, usually. They can be taken as a tonic, which means on an ongoing daily basis, most of them. And they get into the body and they help to balance this and our body systems. Now, some of them work on different systems or have an affinity for different systems. Ashwagandha is helpful for many systems in the body, from the cardiovascular system to the brain to the nervous system. Ashwagandha is pretty incredible. So I love it. And I think it's a wonderful herb if you're under a lot of stress. If you have high cortisol, ashwagandha should be part of your makeup, depending on you, of course. You would probably want to talk to an herbalist. But personally, because it's an adaptogen, it's quite safe, but I would start using it. It's an adaptogen herb needs to be taken for a while, before you may start seeing any shifts or changes. But with that said, let's talk the Latin name for a moment. It's Withania somnifera. Okay. Now think about the species name, which is somnifera. The root of that is SOMN. And guess what that means? It means sleep. And ashwagandha is really wonderful for the nervous system for that. It actually does make some people sleepy, but what it does more than that is it just relaxes you. It helps just relax your system. And for most people, it just relaxes the thought processes in the brain. Most people don't end up going to sleep from it. But I always tell people to give it a shot. And if you're sensitive to it, then take it in the evening. And then, it's really, really helpful for many people. So those are general thoughts. Now, I have other thoughts when it comes to specific types of people, but generally that's what I feel about ashwagandha. It's great. Another thing about it is you can tincture it, you can use it in teas, you can, make glycerites out of it, you can use it in vinegars, you can put it in your fire cider. All right. There are lots of things you can do with it. Nida says, question, can you tincture mullein in glycerin? And should I add anything additional to that tincture? Depends on what you're using it for. So I have multiple formulations where I'm using mullein and other herbs, depending on what the purpose of the plant is, or the formulation is. And so if you're working with the respiratory system, which is mullein is the queen of the respiratory system, you're probably going to want to add in some different kinds of plants depending on what's happening with the respiratory system. So yes, you can take it by itself. My stepmom swore by having mullein on hand at all times. That was probably the only herb she had on hand for a long time. Now she's got tons, but I remember she used to get bronchitis here and there, and she'd tell my dad, she'd say, "Hey, I need Mullein." And there were a couple of times where he would get up and they would go out in the middle of the night and go drive till they would find a Mullein patch, and then they would harvest it. And she would just bring it home and make a tea. And you can breathe in the steam. That's really helpful. And then she would drink the tea. And guess what? Her symptoms would just go away and she would be just fine. And it worked for her much, much better than a round of antibiotics and all the other garbage that people want to put in our bodies, right? But you can use glycerin. You can make a glycerite with it. And I mean, you want to know how to do a glycerite. There's specific ways. You want to mix it with a little bit of water because otherwise it's too viscous to release the compounds in the plant. So a couple things to know there, and you can definitely use glycerin. Oh, you're welcome about the vapor rub reminder. Yes, make that vapor rub. You guys have it on hand. Um, let's see. Question: when tincturing a powder, is the ratio the same as a dried herb, like a dried cut and sifted herb? No, you're going to use less. And that's because, well, it depends on which method you're using. Let's start there. If you're using the folk method, which is just eyeballing, the amount, and you get to be really good at that after you've worked with herbs for a while, you want to use about 1/3 of the cut and sifted amount that you would use, 1/3 to 1/2, depending on what the plant is. If you're working with the standardized method and you're weighing out your herbs, in terms of a ratio with your liquid, which you're measuring in milliliters or cc's, then you're just going to use the same weight to cc measurement. Okay. Let's see here. Brenda says, I want to share how the cayenne pepper salve worked. I have low back pain a lot, along with my husband having pain. It's so good to know that I can make something myself that actually works. Hallelujah. It does work. I just made a batch a few days ago, and I changed it up a little bit. I combined cayenne with poplar buds because the poplar buds contain salicin, which is a precursor to the methyl acetyl salicylate that is what aspirin is. And it works great too. I just love hearing when things are working. Tanya says, question: I am postmenopausal and have low libido. What are your thoughts on using Vitex to help? Vitex may be helpful for some people. Vitex helps support hormone balance. Damiana is another herb that you can look into that also supports libido specifically. It's a Mexican green herb. It smells really nice. And then essential oils can be helpful too. Certain essential oils. I have a free guide on using essential oils for love, basically, and there's a couple in there that may help libido for people, but definitely the Vitex, motherwort might be helpful as well. But the thing is when we are past into the menopause years, and we're all different, but our libido does get affected because guess what? We're not making estrogen anymore. So using herbs like red clover can also be a helper. There's a few others, but I would go ahead and try it. And again, some people get really good results. Other people still struggle. So, and there's other things going on too. And let's talk dryness for a moment. We become drier. So there's oftentimes discomfort, and that can affect libido too. But, when our hormones shift and change, we just shift and change. And I feel like when we're in this time of life, which I am too, many people are, of course, it's good to get creative. It's good to get creative and try some different things maybe. So we won't go into all of that, but because intimacy is important, no matter what age you are. Well, of a certain age. I'm a Christian. I feel like you should be married, but we won't talk about that either. So let's see. Sugar Skull says, do you have an herbal for polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS? This is like the thyroid question, right? This is a medical situation, definitely related to the hormones. Again, the endocrine system, if it gets even messed up a little bit, we're in trouble. And lifestyle is a huge part of that. I've talked in depth about PCOS inside the Confident Herbalist tribe, just as I have the thyroid. So, there's a lot to it. There's a lot that goes into it. And I know people don't like to hear this, but again, and this is not something I really feel comfortable talking about on social media, because YouTube they're on the lookout. I've heard of people mention that they've had things removed, or they've kind of gotten their hands slapped here and there. Heidi over at Rain Country, who I just love her, but yeah, she talks pretty openly about that, and I don't want to go there because I love my YouTube channel. I love you guys. I love my YouTube community so much, and so I don't want to jeopardize that. So the Confident Herbalist Tribe is our very affordable. It's a membership, and you can actually join it as a course or on a subscription. You can do either. I want it to make it as available as I can for people. But so yes, we can talk about that. But first of all, do you have an herbal for polycystic ovarian syndrome? Let's think about that question for a moment. The question is asking, what herb can I take for this? Just to make it go away, right? So remember what I said a moment ago? That's the wrong question. We need to ask a better question. And the better question is, why am I dealing with this? And what can I do to heal the problem? What can I do to solve the root cause of this? Because there's always a root cause, you guys, always, always. And sometimes you can't solve the root cause. If it's genetics, it's genetics. But with something like PCOS, a lot of times you can go to lifestyle changes. You can lose weight if you need to. You can eat better. You can get rid of inflammatory foods. Try one of those anti-inflammatory diets. I feel like bread, and I'm going to go on my bread kick now. I've been listening to my friend Felicia Jocelyn over at Grains and Grit. She's got a YouTube channel. You guys, you want to learn about bread? Go visit her channel. She talks about why bread is so bad for us these days. It doesn't matter if you're eating sourdough or not. Okay, it's just bad. But she's wonderful. Sue Becker is another wonderful woman who talks about the nutrition in bread. And bread's very important for us. Anyway, I know we're supposed to be talking about the other, but anyway, I just want to mention, when you have a health issue ever, you want to first think about your entire body, and you want to go to root cause, and you want to ask yourself why you're dealing with this, and then try to fix that. Okay. And then I have a whole lot more to say about PCOS. I just cannot do it here. I wish I could. Let's see here. Can you harvest blackberry leaf in the fall? We have so many blackberry bushes. You can. It's honestly best to harvest blackberry and raspberry leaves in the spring. They're going to be more tender. They're going to have more of the compounds in them. But you know what? If this is the only time you have to harvest them, go get them. It's better to have old leaves than young, fresh leaves, or nothing, I should say. It's better to have older leaves than nothing. It's better to have the young, fresh leaves if you can get them. Oh, yes, it is, Sir Duke. Yep, I agree with you. That place is a terrible place. All right, you guys, if you want to join the tribe, it is closed right now. We're going to open it up, who knows, in a few months. Reach out to support at Healing Harvest Homestead and talk to Joe about that. He's our decider. I can't say for sure what he'll say, but reach out to him. It's a great place to be. Heidi, can I recommend a good diffuser? Yes, I sure can. I have a few favorites. Let me see, where's my little glass one? Do I have that one someplace? Here, let me get I have a few. And so, sorry, I'm coming back, you guys. Hold on. I just walked away. This is actually one of my favorites. I love this one. I actually have like 5 of them, but it's got a very large reservoir and it holds a lot of water, so I can put more essential oil into it, and it's amazing. You can get this on Amazon, and I guess I look for the link here in a second. I can go to my orders, I think. So remind me, and I can do that. Another diffuser I really like is their Plant Therapy has a nice glass one. I really like glass because you can see what's going on in there. And Aromatics International has a nice glass one too. So those are probably my favorites. And another one, I like my nebulizer. Let me show you that. Coming right back, you guys. This is a nebulizer. I do not use this very often, and it's extremely powerful, and you use pure essential oil in it. You're not using any water. And so it's putting pure essential oil into the room. I use this when people are becoming sick, and I put essential oils in it that fight infection and kill bad pathogens. Okay, so like thyme, lemon, essential oil are a couple of really good ones. Any of them of the mint family can be really helpful. Clove is incredibly wonderful for that. Tea tree, eucalyptus, tons of them. Let's see here. Althea, what I would say is, let me put that link in for you again. So Althea wants to get the $37 on sale course. I just put the link in. You'll need to sign up for the Herbal Remedy Guide. This puts you on my newsletter list. If you don't like it, you just unsubscribe, okay? But most people stay on my list forever because it's really a good newsletter, and I teach in it. And but this guide contains I think I talk about 12 different common herbs, how to use them, how to use the essential oil if there is an essential oil, and there's a cheat sheet in the back for how to use them. And it's for like different conditions and things. So it's a good little remedy guide to have like in your kitchen or your home apothecary. Let's see here. Ashley said, when using red clover for hot flashes, how do you recommend using it? As a tincture or a tea. Now, a red clover is not going to be an active herb in terms of hot flashes. Remember how I just talked about the formulation triangle? You've got your active herbs, you've got your supporters and your synergizers, and you've got your stimulators, okay? So you've got these 3 types of categories when you're formulating. Red clover is going to be for hot flashes anyway. It would be in that harmonizing group. All right. It's going to be in the synergizing group. It's not going to be one of the actives. Although it does have the phytoestrogens, which helps if you've got estrogen dominance. Okay. So anyway, the biggest one would be like black cohosh, if you can use that. My friend has inflammation of the breast. She does not have breast BC. Thank you for saying that and not using the C word here. That's another one that they're on the lookout for. What herbs will help her? She's not breastfeeding. Will wild yam help? It depends on why her breasts are inflamed. Okay. And this is again, when it's not like, you go to a doctor and he says, oh, your breasts are inflamed. Here's a pill. It's not like that. Herbalists ask you questions and they get down to the root cause. Like, why is this even happening in the first place? So if she has inflammation of the breast, obviously you want to decrease that. And a number of things can help, but it will depend on what's causing it. If it's a lymph tissue issue, we have lymph nodes in our armpits and also throughout our chest area. And these lymph nodes, if they become full and they're not moving the lymph like they're supposed to, then we can get inflammation and they're not comfortable. Fibroids are one of the issues that happen when that happens. And I really like to use the lymphatic herb categories for that. And you can make a beautiful massage oil. In fact, on my YouTube channel, I've got a lymph moving massage oil, so you can look that up. But herbs like wild violet leaf, calendula, cleavers, these are all lymph movers, and there's others out there too. And you can just make a beautiful massage oil. And there are certain essential oils that work too, and I talk about that in the video. But yeah, I would want to know why it's inflamed. Is it nipple duct infection? There's all kinds of inflammation, you guys. Okay. Eileen says, just arriving, if not answered already, how much of a rosemary tincture should be taken by an adult and for how long? It depends on why you're using it. And it depends on what you want to get out of it. If you're using it for the brain support and the memory support, what I would do is take it on a tonic basis. And I would probably start off with about 3 dropperfuls or about a half a teaspoon a day. I'd take it in the morning and do that for 2 or 3 weeks, and then just reduce the amount to 1 dropperful per day. See how you do with that. Rosemary is safe, you guys. It's a very safe plant for most people. It is a food herb. You guys, the food herbs are incredible because, and usually they're going to be your aromatics. They contain essential oils, but they're very gentle most of the time, and you can just use them. If it's considered a food, don't be too worried about it. Now, with that said, some people with hypertension might have a reaction, a little one, or they might be sensitive to it. So keep that in mind, and always do your research before you start taking any herbs anyway. Let's see here. Toph said, can you recommend any herbs to loosen up gunk in the lungs? You want to take your expectorating herbs, okay? These are herbs that tend to break up mucus and help you expel it. So mullein is a wonderful expectorant. We were talking about mullein a moment ago. There's elecampane root, which is really wonderful. It's very, very bitter, but it's really helpful for lung health. Rosemary and thyme are really nice expectorating herbs too, and there's many, many others. To be honest, like you can do a lot with those. I have a lung tea recipe on my website at healingharvesthomestead.com. I actually have a couple of them. You can look at those recipes, and I always explain why the herbs work, at least to an extent. So you can get in there and look those up. And anytime you're Google searching me, what I would like you to do is just type in Healing Harvest Homestead and then something like lung, or cough or whatever, because that way Google will hone in on our website. Let's see. Melissa says, question, I keep mixing the herbs action and advantages for my test. How did you learn to keep the ones that are similar apart? Thank you so much. To be honest, I say this to students all the time. You've got to use the herbs, okay? You've got to experience the plant, because otherwise it's just all in your head. When you actually hands-on make a peppermint tincture, make a rosemary tea, make whatever, but use the plants, grow the plants if you can. And what ends up happening is while you're studying, you're going to go, oh yeah, I remember, how that tasted. Or you start using your senses, which is called organoleptics, but you start using your senses to become familiar with the plants and what they do. In fact, many herbalists can just taste an herb and go, it's bitter. I know it's going to be helpful for my digestive system. And you just start putting all the pieces together. It takes time. It's not really something you can just learn out of a book. You have to actually do it. And you know what? It's good to do it with people around you that are doing it with you. Like, that's why we have the Confident Herbalist Tribe, because you've got help and you've got support, and you're around people who know what they're doing, and you can ask questions and get into these neat conversations about things. Is mother's wort like St. John's wort? Anne says, no, they're totally different. Wort is actually W-O-R-T is a really old-fashioned European word, and it means herb. That's all it means. And so they're two totally different plants. Motherwort is Leonoris cardiaca. It's really helpful for women. It's really helpful for the heart. Tends to be a little bit relaxing, not bad. It just calms. And St. John's wort, which is Hypericum perforatum, is a wonderful plant that supports the nervous system. So, but wort simply means herb. Oh, Harani, thank you. She's putting links in here. Do I have a tallow lotion recipe? Vanessa, I do not. And I have a ton of tallow and I've been meaning to get to it. Thank you for reminding me. You know what? I will formulate a really great one and I will share it on YouTube. Tallow recipe. I know. I love, it's been an hour already. Goodness. Wow. An hour goes by so fast. Let's see. Jane says, question. I'll answer two more. How's that? And there's no silly questions ever. Is the witch hazel extract called for in a formula the same as the witch hazel you buy in a store? Yes, it's honestly easier just to go ahead and buy your witch hazel. If you have a witch hazel tree, you can infuse the plant and make it yourself. But personally, I like to just buy that's one I like to buy commercially, especially if I'm using it for skincare. Okay, let me find one more question. Hi, I have bad fatty liver, and how is it okay for me to take a tincture of milk thistle with a small amount of alcohol? I love this question. Thank you for asking this. It reminds me, I'm going to tell you a story, and that will answer your question. So I have a lot of medical professionals in my family. My daughter-in-law is a physician's associate and works in a very, very busy hospital. And I remember when she was going to college for this, we were all out in a restaurant eating. And, doctors are taught not to use herbs. There's no herbal education in medical practice. In fact, they discourage it. They just will flat out tell their doctor students, just don't use herbs. Tell your people don't use herbs. Anyhow, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's ridiculous to me. Now, with that said, I love doctors. There's a time and a place for doctors. My daughter, my youngest child, who is 30 years old, happens to be a medical doctor, okay? And she used to do a lot of our research for our master classes in the Confident Herbalist Tribe, as a matter of fact, back before she went into medical school. And so she's well aware that herbs have wonderful actions. So let's talk about this. My daughter-in-law said to me as we were eating at the restaurant the one day, she had just come out of a lecture from a professor who was laughing about herbs and herbals. And he said, can you believe that these herbalists, they tell people to, take herbs for the liver and they're taking it in alcohol. Ha, 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 ha. And of course, she comes to me and she goes, so same question. How is this? This is what my professor said. So how is it possible that you're taking something for your liver in alcohol? I said to her, do you know how much alcohol you're taking? And she goes, no. And I said, well, an average dose is between 1/4 and 3/4 of a teaspoon. So about half a teaspoon on average. That's not very much alcohol. And if you're taking something like 80 proof, which is for only 40% alcohol, 40% of that is alcohol. And the rest of that half a teaspoon or whatever is water. And so as you can see, you're not taking very much alcohol. If you're using it for medicinal reasons and you're not guzzling it, you're hardly getting any alcohol at all. And you're getting the benefits of the silymarin in the milk thistle. It's very, very concentrated. So that's how. And I just want to point out to you that if you go look at the over-the-counter preparations in any drugstore, and you look at the ones that contain alcohol, you guys, it's a ton of alcohol. Cough syrup has a very high percentage of alcohol. And that I just find it funny that people, you just need to like think through it and know what it's all about, right? So you're not using hardly any alcohol, and you are getting the benefits of the liver support. Okie dokes. I'll answer one more. I love you guys. And then we're going to hop off. Erica says, what is best for a headache that is because of tight muscles? So this is a tension headache, right? And I think I talked about different kinds of headaches in the last chat. I'm not sure, but there are different kinds of headaches. You're going to work with them differently. So if you've got tight muscles going on or your jaws are clenching like this, you're going to get tightness all through the muscles of your head and your neck. And that can actually cause blood vessel constriction. And then you've got a headache. You've got a tension headache. So personally, I like, again, a multi-pronged approach. My first thing that I do is I've got a blend called the Super Headache Roller Bottle Blend. So I keep this in a roller bottle. Actually, I have it in several places in the house, and I keep it in the classroom, and it's always in my purse because I come across people who need it, and I love it myself. But you roll it on your neck. You roll it on your back here, back of neck, around your ears, on your temples. Your muscles just relax, and then the headache goes away. Another thing I like to use is willow bark tincture. I think willow bark tincture, when it comes to generalized, basic headaches, is pretty effective. Peppermint is another one. If you don't have a Super Headache Roller Bottle Blend, which is in the Ditch the Drugstore book, then and I should talk about some of my favorite essential oils for that too. But just peppermint. Peppermint has a really strong analgesic properties. So you can just put a little, put it in oil first, dilute it first. But you can just rub a small amount on your temples, and that can often just take care of the headache too. My favorite essential oils for dealing with tight muscles are sweet marjoram. Make sure it's the Latin name is Oregana majorana, because there are different kinds of marjorams, and you don't want to get the wrong one. You need sweet marjoram. And then I love to use clary sage, lavender, patchouli, if you like it, is really good. Nutmeg is very calming as well. I really like to use grounding essential oils like frankincense can be helpful, but the essential oils that just support relaxation. I think I just mentioned peppermint. Eucalyptus is a nice one too. Rosemary is helpful as well. And so you might be thinking, well, these are stimulating, like peppermint and rosemary and eucalyptus are stimulating essential oils, but what they do is they stimulate the thought processes, but they relax muscles. So they kind of have a dual purpose thing on there. All right, you guys. So I just want to encourage you once again, pick up your free Herbal Remedies Guide. It's very beautiful, and it's perfect for your home apothecary, your kitchen, whatever. It's a great little resource. It's got a cheat sheet in it as well, and I will put the link in here one more time. And again, I just want to mention the offer that comes with it. You'll see another page pop up, and it's for our Herbal Medicine Making Basics course. It's only $37, and it's normally like $147. And there's 15 videos, and there's my cold and flu book, which is a complete cold and flu book, is in there as well. So it's definitely worth the price. But we're getting ready to refilm it. I'm so excited. My husband said to me, he's like, we need to refilm this. Because he does all the video editing and decision making on that. And so I'm like, okay, I'm ready. So we're going to get that refilmed. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to add extra lessons in it and more things. So if you already own it, know that's coming. I'll put a note out to all my students. I think we have nearly 6,000 or so students that have that course now. So everybody's getting a big surprise and some other things. Bonnie says, Heidi, you should call yourself the God-fearing herbalist. I should. That's a great name. Absolutely. All right, you guys. I love you. Grab your guide if you don't have it. Get on my newsletter list. whitelist it so that you do get my emails. If you don't like my emails, unsubscribe, but then at least you've got the herbal remedy guide. And then you might want to pick up my course when you get that extra page pop up. All right. I'm going to try to, I told you before, I'm going to try to do these chats once a week for you guys. I'm not going to spend a whole hour every time. We didn't have any place to go today. We usually have spend Sunday evening out if we can and with family and stuff. So, that's I'm not going to be able to do an hour every week, but I will hopefully see you next Sunday. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. You are awesome, and I love you all. And thank you for being here and supporting the YouTube channel for us. All right, bye-bye. Having trouble getting out of here. Sorry. Still here. Bye, you guys. I see the button. Okay.